So next we will jump into the important topic, the data visualization in Power BI. So what is data visualization? So what is data visualization? So why do we need to visualize the data? That we will take a look at it now. Okay, so what is data visualization? In simple term, to say it in one liner, it is about presenting the data in visuals such as bar chart, column chart, donut chart, bubble chart, so on and so forth. Okay, so for that purpose we use data visualization. Okay, so in simple term, presenting the data in visuals like bar chart, column chart, maps, and so on. So why do I need to do data visualization using bar chart and column chart, map visual? So visualizing the data using charts or other visuals allows us to see the patterns, understand trends, identifying anomalies, and understand. For example, in the case of retail, I want to understand retail or banking. I want to understand customer purchase behavior in an interesting way. Okay, and we all know that the human brain process visuals much better than any complex tabular forms or reports. Human brain is not capable enough to understand the insights with a large amount of data or text at once. Imagine in your Excel you have 100,000 records are there or 200,000 records are there. If you want to gain a quick insight, you need to scroll down. It is painful thing, very difficult to gain insight in a matter of minutes or seconds or jiffy. Okay, fine. So in that case, if you present the data in visuals like charts, maps, it will help the management to gain a quick insight in a matter of seconds. In some cases, jiffy. And what are the types of charts are there? We have something called line chart and area chart, bar chart, column chart. Likewise, different types of charts are available. And also we have custom charts. You can create it in Power BI desktop. Okay, now what we will do is we will start with understanding the very basic and popular chart called line chart. What is a line chart? It is a series of data points. So you have data point here, your data point here, data point here, data point here. So it is a series of data points connected by straight lines. It may have more than one lines also. Here we have one line, the red colored and the orange colored and other color, right? So it may have one or more lines. So in this case, each line corresponds to category or data values. Okay, and line charts have an x-axis and y-axis in it. And when to use line chart? Now the next question is, when should I use line chart? To compare trends over time. Okay, let's say for your audience to show the trends in how sales value changed over the years. So in that case, right, how the sales value changed over the years, then it makes sense using a line chart, or you can use area chart also. And view and so that is what you can do it. So with the help of line chart, we can see the increase or decrease in our followers on social media networks, or revenue, or expenses, all the things we can see it. In simple term, we can use line chart, or line chart works well for time. Okay, and when not to use line chart? When you have more data series, then don't go for line chart, it will be more cluttered. Okay, it works well for time. Look here in the x-axis, usually in the case of a line chart, we use the date, time, or related data, or the year, month, date, something like that. Okay, and what I am going to do is I just start with a simple data visualization using Power BI desktop. And as I told you, line chart is a popular visualization chart using which we can represent a series of data points connected by straight line. Remember this. So what I am going to do is in the Power BI desktop, I am going to click on the get data. Already I loaded the sales W04 data set. Okay, and I don't have to do it once again. let me just do one thing. I just loaded just now, just before this in meeting, right? So I just started loading that one. Next I will just show you in the Power Query editor. You remember in the last session we have seen how to perform the data transformation for the sales W04 because it has some issues in it, right? It was having some issues. I just go here and see advanced editor. I can see these all the things are there here, right? So all I am going to do is in yesterday's session or the last session I have used the same file sales W04. Okay, along with this I have used some other table. I thought of reusing the same thing here. Instead of doing the repeater task, advanced editor you can simply copy paste it there. Okay, and you can simply copy paste it there, but you need to remove it. Sales W04.csv. I've used only one right here. Yeah, sales W04. So I just selected sales W04 and I clicked on the advanced editor. Whatever the transaction that I did it, I can see that. And if I select sales fact and if I go here advanced editor, I can see the transformations that was carried out in that one. Now what I do is I just go back to this data visualization, this one. Here what I do is simply I just open the advanced editor and let me see if this one works. So change type with the locale, all the things. Okay, and if I do this one, look here, all these things, you don't have to do the same thing again and again. You can simply reuse the same transformation by copy pasting it from one Power BI file, report file, to another Power BI file. Okay, so now you have seen how to copy paste advanced editor from that one. Yesterday I did this one here, right? So yesterday whatever the transformation I did it, you can find it by selecting the sales underscore W04 and go to advanced editor and copy all these things. Okay, and then now I don't need it any longer, this one. I just closed it. I just came back to my new report file called data visualization. Here I just selected this one advanced editor. Simply I copy pasted all the transformation whatever I did it in the last session. Now I was able to save time. This is how you need to improve your productivity. Okay, simply don't do the task repeatedly. Anyhow, we will take a look at everything. Okay, and here we don't see any error, everything is good, and it's a decimal value, everything is done perfectly. I just go ahead and click on close and apply. Now my data file is ready. Okay, the next one is, so apart from this we have something called workflow. Workflow is nothing but the Power Query editor on cloud, Power BI services. I'm not going to discuss that now. So once you create it there, instead of copy pasting it here, you can download that one from your Power BI cloud. Which one? The scripts whatever I copy pasted, right, in the Power Query editor. So those things you can have it in your workflow. Okay, or you can convert that as a function also, custom function. Anyhow, let's not worry about it. As of now you understood, right? So how to reuse the transformation, data transformation related steps in another file, right? I just copied everything and I pasted it in the Power Query editor. Good. So next what I am going to do is I'm going to create a line chart. Okay, and now what I am going to do is I'm going to click on so I'm going to add a line chart. I just click on the line chart. Look here, this is my line chart. It is available under visualizations pane. Okay, and I just dragged it here. Okay, now I'm going to drag the year from this calendar table into the axis field. I can put it in axis field or I can drag and drop it directly into this visual. You have two options. See, I just dragged the year column and I just dropped it here from my calendar table. Let me just see here. Yeah, and here, and then the next step is I'm going to simply drag and drop the sales data from my sales table, sales underscore W04. There is, yes, now I could see that for 2011, 2012, 13, 14, for these 4 years, what are the sales? But my manager wants to see the average sales. So in that case, what you should do, you just look here. The moment when I dragged and dropped the date in the year column from the calendar, this is the year, right? I just dragged and dropped it here. So automatically it got placed in the axis field here. Okay, in the axis field it got dragged. So in this kind of x-axis, okay, and then the values are like your y-axis. In this case, the values are plotted in y-axis. So when I dragged and dropped sales directly into it, so automatically the sales column got placed under this values field. Understood? This here got copied automatically here, dragged here, sorry, it got placed into the axis field. And the next step is this one, the sales column got dragged here, it got copied here automatically. Simply I just dragged and dropped it, but behind the scene, right, it takes care of it automatically. The alternatively, what you can do is you can drag the year from the calendar table and put it in axis, and you can copy the sales column from your sales underscore W04 table, and then you can drag it here. Okay, simply you can drag it here also. Okay, values. Okay, so but if you do it this way, you will be able to understand, okay, this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. You will get to know that. So this is a simple way of creating a line chart. And my manager doesn't want the sum of sales in each year. He wants to see the average sales. In that case, you need to click on this arrow mark, down arrow, and you just click on this down arrow, and you have a lot of options here. You want to select minimum, maximum, average, or sum. I want to do average sales. I just selected it. It computes the average sales year on year. Okay, look here, the average sales is different from the sum of sales. The average sales is more here in 2011, right? And you can see this one. So there is a difference between these two, average and sum. Now we understood how it differs from one to another. For example, I just copy paste it here. The same, Control C, Control V, I did it. It's the same thing. But here I just wanted to select, instead of average of sales, for example, if I select sum, you will get to know that. If you take the sum of the sales, it shows something like that. But when you take the average sales, right, it shows the difference. So it's a very interesting insight, right, that the average is also an aggregate function, and sum function is also an aggregate function. Remember this. Okay, and now what I want to do is, let's say I just want to use the sum of sales, and here what I'm going to do is I can see something else called the legend field here. I have something else called legend field that is available as part of the line chart. What I am going to do is I'm going to drag and drop the category wise sales legend. In this one, I just put it here. The moment when I dragged and dropped the category column from here to here, the legend, what happens, you can see 3 different colors here. Each color reference different categories. Okay, so this color reference technology, and this color reference furniture, and this one references the office supplies. So now at a glance you can find out in 2011 what is the sales across the category. So when you hover the cursor, you are here, the black colored, the rectangle one, what you are seeing is called your tooltip. In 2011, in all the 3 categories, what is the sales? In one shot, you can see it. If I move the cursor here, right, so the same things, 7-11, all the things you can see the same value. But in 2011, for these 3 different categories, if you want to see it in one go, you just keep the cursor here, and this is called tooltip. Inside the tooltip, you can see the text, like in 2011 furniture, how much sales we made, office supplies, how much we made, technology, how much we made. And similarly, when you move the cursor slightly on the right side, you can see it here. If they want the sum of sales, or if they want to see the average of sales, right, you can use it accordingly, the aggregation, by selecting the down arrow. When you click on it, you can see all the options. Okay, so next step is formatting the line charts. Now we are able to create a line chart, and now we want to format this line chart. And so if you see here, this is what your format icon. Okay, the rolling paint icon. Okay, using which you can do formatting of your visuals. I just click on this. So here, this format field, right, in Power BI Desktop, it offers various options to format the chart. To begin, I'm going to turn on the data labels. Where is the data labels? I just click on from off to on, right? So you can see the data label displayed along with. See, we can see the data labels plotted in the line chart. But in this case, the text size is small. You can increase the text size to something else. For example, I know very well, or there is something called text size is available here. Yeah, text size, I'm going to increase it. You just click on the up arrow, text size will become a little bit bigger here, so that the data labels and all will be, so in the y-axis. Okay, in the y-axis, okay, you have text size here. I typed it here, 1 second. So this is another advantage here. Look here in the x-axis, if you want to increase the text size, you can see when you know the property, right, simply type here the text size, so that for x-axis what is the size, and y-axis, right, it will group it and show you related to text size. And you have something else called secondary thing. Okay, so anyhow, look here on the x-axis and y-axis, I increase the text size value here. And if you see here, see here, year and average sales. After increasing the text size here, look here, the year and sales, these text got the size got increased. Okay, so I have added the new dimension. In this case, what is the new dimension? The new dimension called category. In addition to the x-axis and y-axis values, I included a new dimension. So that is in the legend variable. Okay, in the legend thing. So this creates 3 line charts corresponding to category. If you want to change the color of the line chart, you can do it here. Okay, you can do it here. You just, if you want to any kind of formatting, everything data colors, you can just select it. Instead of using these colors, you can use something technology. You can make it some green color or more colors. You just click on more color, and you can select the green color, and somewhere here you just double click on it. So that's it, you are done with this. So look here, all these things you can do it here. And this is how you can change the colors. Okay, and the next, what else we can do is, and we have something called title here. I'll just go here and see the title here. Where is the title? Yeah, here title is on here, and here you can change the title here. Okay, whatever the title name that you wanted to see it. Yeah, sales by year and category. So this is enough. And if I wanted to change the font color, I can change it. Or if you want to change the background color, I can change it. If I want to align it in the middle, I can do it. Okay, and for example, if you want to change the background color to black here, and if you want to change the font color as white here, because white and black will go well. And if I want to change the text size, I can change it, because the title should be a little bit bigger. It should not be very small one. Sales by year and category. Yes, we are done with this. So now my line chart is ready. This is how we can change this one. And also the legend, for example, if you want to change the legend, right, so your legend is on, and if you click this one, and you can select the position also here, bottom, left or right. For example, if you want to have it on the right side, you can have it here. But when you have it in the right side, the size of the chart will is getting smaller. and we can, if you can use it bottom center also, or if you wanted to have it on the top, you can have it on the top. So let us have it at the top itself at this moment. And now we understood how we can change the font color, text size, and alignment, how we can align it. For example, in the case of title, I just selected this one. Title on, legend on, yeah, position top, and sorry, not the legend, where is the title? This is the one, the title. So using which I did the alignment, left alignment, right alignment, you can do it here. In this case I've used the middle one, or you can leave it as it is, these the left aligned or center also you can have it. This is how you can do it. And look here, and I want to create some border here. Border, you can click on this one. This is called toggling. Okay, so when I click it once, it will become on, and when I click it one more time, it will become off. I'm going to toggle this on, and the background color also you can change it. Okay, at this moment I'm going to live with this one. So I'm going to click on this right arrow because I don't want the filter pane to occupy more space in my report canvas. Fine. Okay, we are done with a simple line chart. With this, you understood how you can create a line chart, and how you can drag and drop the values, and how you can put additional dimension in addition to x-axis and y-axis. If you want to add an additional dimension, we have an option called legend. With this, you can use it. For example, instead of category, you can use something else called the region wise sales, something like that. So, but it looks so cluttered. Okay, and if you have less number of categories in your data set, it will be good. And if you have so many things, right, it will be cluttered, very difficult to interpret them. And this is called your small multiples. Look here, we have another option called small multiples. Here I just dragged and dropped this segment. Instead of legend, if I use the small multiples, it creates the segments. So we have 4 different segments. One is consumer, sorry, 3 different segments. One is blank, you forget this. Consumer segment, home office, corporate segment. Each segment, if you want to see it separately, you can see it with the help of multiples. And also, for example, if I wanted to drag and drop the country in the legend, and not country, let me, it will be cluttered, and instead of this I'm going to use category here. You just click on, or you can select, you click on this checkbox also, okay, to enable this one, and you can use the category in the legend field. Look here, you can see the multiples here itself. Within each multiples you can see everything. So this is my office supplies and furniture. So I have used all the options, small multiples and legend and x-axis, y-axis, how we can plot it, we can see it, everything here. You can probably minimize it. Okay, so this is how you can create the line chart. Next one is the area chart. Area chart is also somewhat similar to, I'm going to remove this one because the small multiples, it is not showing good thing. It's a little bit cluttered, and if I see it here with this itself, I'm able to gain a quick insight. I could see that at a glance in technology segment or the category we are selling more, we are doing really good with technology. But overall we can see all the categories, there is a steady increase in sales. We don't see any dip in sales. From 2011 to 2014 we can see an increase. We can see an the upward trend. The sales is going up. So 2011 we can see a trend here, right? Year on year we can see the trend. What trend? Upward trend. We can see an upward trend. So next we'll take a look at the area chart. Area chart is also somewhat similar to line chart. What I will do is I just simply copy paste this one in the interest of time. So I just keep this here, and if I want to change this from line chart to area chart, as I told you earlier, to change one visual, instead of saying chart, I'm going to call a visual henceforth. because this is the term used by many data analysts. Okay, and here this is my area. Okay, what is the area chart? This is the area chart. Okay, this is stacked area chart, this is area chart. When I click on the area chart, you can see something like this, right? So you can see something like this here. Okay, the category has gone down here. I just drag and drop this one here, the category. Okay, sales by year and cut. Either you can use the line chart or you can use area chart. And what is the difference between these two? More or less same. We can see the trend here. The advantage of the basic area charts, all right, you can gain the trends. The trends are reduced at a glance. Okay, at a glance. The here other thing is, other difference is the area between the line. So the line, the area between the line and axis. I'm talking about this one. The area between this one, this line and this x-axis filled with the color, right? So and here to here, it filled with some color here, right? It filled, and here to here, it filled with some color, right? So different colors. So with this, we should be able to distinguish the trend between one category to another category amongst the other category, right? So we can see that very well. So what is the difference between the sales? You can just 0.80, 0.9, so just 3 million. Okay, and here 0.612. You can make it quickly with this one. You can also do it here, but the only difference is the area between the lines and the x-axis filled with the color. Okay, that is the difference between the thing. It's useful for representing, you can different data series, and so this is basically to represent the timeless data. Okay, the data unrelated to time also we can plot it with area chart, but in general the line chart, area chart, right, we want to see the trend over a period of time. Obviously in the x-axis you can plot the year related data. Instead of year you can use quarter, month on month sales also. You can do it, you can compare it. So here the same thing, you can go to the format button and you can change the title, name if you want to change it, or if you want to change the font size, text size, everything, legend, everything you can say, you can do it here. So not much difference between area chart and this one. Area chart, as I told you, it is same as a line chart. The area between the x-axis and lines filled with the color. The trends are reduced at a glance. Okay, in this case the trends are reduced at a glance, so that you will get a quick or instant idea about this one. We'll take a look at the stacked chart, stacked area chart little later. And after I discuss about the bar and column chart, stacked column chart, then it will be easier for you to understand stacked area chart. So next we will move ahead and take a look at what is bar and column chart. Okay, the bar and column chart works well for comparing data values across categories. For example, here I have 3 categories for each year. If you want to compare it, the categories side by side, then you can go for column chart. This is called your column chart and this is called your bar chart. This is bar chart and column chart. So it is commonly or widely used visualization to visualize the data. So both of these data visuals use rectangular bars. You can see the rectangular bars, right? So both in both the cases. See the size of the rectangle, the size of the bar, right? The size of the bar is proportional to the data values. In 2011, in this case, let's say the sale is $4 million, right? The size of the rectangle is also proportional to this data values. So the lesser the sales, lesser the size of your rectangles. It works best for comparing data values across categories. Okay, so here, look here, within this itself, in 2011 itself, we can compare 3 different categories. Now the question is, when should I use this kind of chart? If you want to compare different categories or track changes over time using column and bar charts, right, you can go ahead with this one. So now the question is, what is the difference between bar chart? This is called bar chart. This is called your column chart. What is the difference between these two things? As the name suggests, right? In the case of bar chart, it is horizontal. The bar chart is horizontal, whereas the column chart is vertical. That is the difference between these two. So if the x-axis, let's say in the case of x-axis, the dimension, see in this case, the x-axis, we have used the date dimension, right, or the year in this case. So date dimension in the sense, in this case we have used the year. If it is not a date dimension, the x-axis, okay, and if the category names are too long, so it may be preferable, or better you can use the bar chart, so that the category values are, you can plot a bigger category name, because here if we specify the category name which has bigger, or the length of the categories, each category is very big, very lengthy one, it will get cluttered. Instead you can use a bar chart. If the category names and your x-axis is too big, right, too lengthy, then you can go for bar chart. Whereas in this case you can go for the date kind of dimension, or if the x-axis dimension values are very small, then you can go for column chart. But both of them we can use it to compare the values across the categories. Okay, that is the purpose we'll be using it. And now the question is, what is the difference between line chart and, earlier we discussed about line chart and area chart. Now the question is, what's the difference between line chart and bar chart and column chart? Okay, the bar graph is meant for categories. It works best for comparing data values across categories. Bar graph, look here, that is what I discussed so far. The line chart is meant for time. If you want to compare the changes over a period of time, then you can go for line chart. Now we understood the difference between line chart, bar chart, column chart. Okay, and difference between the bar chart and column chart also you understood. Difference between the bar chart and column chart also you understood. Okay, here the values are, here you have plotted the bars horizontally, here it is vertical. That's what I discussed, right? So now you understood three things. One is what is line chart, and what is area chart, and what is bar chart and column chart. What is the difference between these two? Now we have discussed. And also what is the difference between line chart, bar chart and column chart. We discussed it. And next one is if you look at the Power BI desktop here in the visualizations, just beneath this visualization, right, you can see many visuals here, and especially when you look at these 6 visuals here, if you keep the cursor here, right, so one second, let me just, if you keep the cursor, you can see stacked bar chart. This is stacked column chart. We have 2 charts here. This is called bar chart, this is called column chart, but these two are related to stacked category. These two are related to stacked category. In the stacked itself, we have bar and column chart. Bar chart is horizontal, column chart is vertical. That is what we discussed earlier. And similarly, if you look at these two charts here, this is my clustered bar chart, this is my clustered column chart. So these two column charts falls under clustered chart. In the clustered chart category, in the clustered category, we have bar and column chart. So net whether it's stacked or clustered, in both the category you have bar and column chart, or the horizontal and vertical bars, right? That is there in both the stacked and chart. Okay, that is what. So here 2 plus 2, 4. That is what we can see. 2 plus 2 is 4, and the last one is 100% stacked bar chart. So one second, this is if you keep the cursor over here, let me do, I pressed it more than once. So 100% stacked bar chart, 100% stacked column chart. So these 6 charts, this, one second, it is hanging. That's what, if you press it many times, the shift and many keys, right, it is getting hung. So we have overall in the top row 6 charts are there. Those 6 charts falls under three categories. One is stacked chart, and the other one is clustered chart. Yeah, these I'm talking about these six thing. One second, where the hell it has gone here, right? So I think because of that tool. Just give me a second, because with the annotation tool I can show you very clearly. I pressed it 2 times. Okay, so here if you see here, this one is okay, and we have 6 type of charts, but these 6 type of charts falls under 3 categories, right? Stacked, clustered, and 100% stack, and each category we have bar and column chart. You remember that way, okay? So be it a stacked bar chart or clustered column chart, the chart display data using rectangular bars. You need to remember this. So the length of the bar is proportional to the data value. That's what we have seen it. In stacked chart, be it a bar or column, the rectangles are stacked one over the other. For example, in the case of stacked chart, look here, this is what my stacked bar chart, column chart, and this is my stacked column chart. So earlier we have seen what is bar chart and column chart. Now we are seeing the stacked bar and stacked column chart. In the case of stacked chart, this is your bar chart, and stacked bar chart, this is your column chart. Whereas a stacked chart or so the simple bar or column chart, the rectangles. So look here, in this case the rectangles, each rectangles are stacked one over the other, one on top of the other. Okay, that is what the stacked bar chart and stacked column chart is all about. Okay, and the 100% stacked, this is your 100% stacked bar chart or column chart. This one shows the part to whole proportions over time. For example, if you want to see the proportion of quarterly sales per region, right, this one is very much helpful. The percentage column charts are the same as stacked chart, but it shows values as a percentage. It shows the values as percentage, meaning that all the bars are the same length. Look here, all the bars are having the same length. So you can use them in the same way as stacked charts. So this, see, that's what the difference between the stacked chart and 100%. This is actually 100% stacked bar chart and column chart. So you can use the same way as the stacked bar chart, and these are particularly useful when compare different relative references. Okay, the percentage column chart, it shows the aggregated value as a percentage. Now we will take a look at each type of chart here. I just go here. I just click on this plus sign so that it can create a new page. You can create as many pages as possible in the Power BI desktop. First I will start with the stacked bar chart. I just clicked on the stacked bar chart here, and the next one is I just go and drag and drop the category here. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to use the same columns. Later on we will create some complex charts. Look here, it shows the simple the bar chart, simple bar chart. But here when I keep the cursor, you can see the stacked bar chart. So what I am going to do is I just go and drag and drop the segment here in the legend. The moment when I dragged and dropped the segment under the legend field, what happens? Now the stacked bar chart is ready. Okay, but when you use only the two values, the x-axis and y-axis, you can see this normal bar chart. Okay, so that you can get it with this itself. Okay, for example, If you want to create another visual, click on the empty space in the canvas, but click it once, don't click it more than once. It will, by default, it will create Q&A visual. Just click it gently once and then click on the clustered bar chart. Here also I am going to use the same thing. I am going to just drag and drop category, and I am going to use the sales here. Both of them look similar. So which one I selected it? Look here. When I selected this visual, it got highlighted, and similarly under the visualizations pane, it got highlighted. So it helps me to understand this visual is nothing but the clustered bar chart. Now the clustered bar chart and stacked bar chart also look similar, right? But don't get confused. In this case, if you drag and drop a segment here, or in the legend, if you drag and drop, right, you can add one more dimension. If you select this one, and here also we will put some legend here, but in this case, it is each rectangle is not stacked over another rectangle, right? So here now you understood the difference between these two. Okay, in both the cases you can use additional field or additional dimension like segment. In this example I used segment. Whatever you wanted, you can use it here, but the difference is each rectangle is stacked over one another. Okay, so this rectangle got placed on top of this one, and this rectangle got placed on top of this one. So now we know the difference between the clustered bar chart or column chart and stacked bar chart and column chart. In the case of clustered bar chart or column chart, for example, if you want to convert this as a column chart, clustered column chart, click on this one. It will become vertical. Instead of horizontal, it will become vertical. Now in this case, I can compare the categories side by side. But in the case of stacked bar chart, it helps me to understand the part to whole relationship. Okay, so within this technology category, what is the consumer category part? Consumer category part contribution is more than other two. Okay, so that is how you need to interpret. Okay, and so this is the difference between the stacked chart and ball and chart. In the case of stacked charts, the stacked charts are used to show the ratio between total and its parts. What is the ratio between the total? This is my total, and what is the ratio of this one? What is the ratio of this one? So you can compare the part to the whole. In the case of stacked bar chart, stacked column chart, if I want to convert the stacked column chart, I can click on this one, it will become a column. But here each rectangle is placed over one another. But whereas here each rectangle is not placed on top of each other, right? Instead, it is placed side by side. So in the case of stacked bar chart or column chart, you can display the ratio between, or you can find the ratio between total and its whole. Whereas in the case of clustered charts, I'm going to call these two as clustered chart. That is what, right? These two are clustered charts. The clustered charts allows all data points, or you can compare the categories side by side. So now you understood the difference between clustered chart and the stacked chart. In the clustered chart also you have column chart and bar chart. In the stacked chart also you have column chart or bar chart. So I am going to copy paste this one. In the interest of time, I just move this downwards. And what I am going to do is I am going to click on this 100% stacked column chart. But if you see, these two are more or less same. This is also stacked column chart, but this is stacked 100% stacked column chart. So what is the difference between, now you understood the difference between stacked and bar. So in the case of stacked bar chart, you can compare the part to the whole. Now you cannot compare side by side. Okay, you cannot compare the categories side by side. Part to whole only you can compare the relationship. Similarly, here also the same thing, but here instead of showing in terms of, look here 2 million, 2 million, 1 million something, but here it shows 50%, right, and 29%, 19%, something like that. So it shows us right. So it shows us the aggregate values as percentages. Instead of displaying the values as it shows the aggregated values as percentage. That is the difference between stacked bar chart, column chart, and 100% stacked bar chart and column chart. The cluster chart is used to compare the values side by side. Now you should be able to understand the difference between, or you should be able to understand the difference between all these type of charts. Now we started with the line chart, and then we discussed about area chart. We discussed about the difference between line chart and area chart, and also we discussed about the bar chart. So when I am not supposed to use the line chart, if you have so many data series, then don't use line chart. It will be more cluttered. Okay, and so in that case you can try with the bar chart or column chart. In the bar chart, column chart itself, you have three different categories. One is clustered. So with this you can compare it side by side. Stacked bar chart, we can compare part to whole. You cannot compare one category to other. You are not supposed to do that. Part to whole only you can do it. But whereas in this case, the percentage column chart, this is also called as a percentage column chart. It shows this visual shows with aggregated values as a percentage. Instead of showing it as a value, look here, you can see the value in each smaller rectangle, right? But here you can see the percentage also. Hence, using this, you can compare the part to whole. Both the case, you can do the same thing, but it shows the aggregated values as a percentage. Now you understood the difference between all these three, right? All these three: stacked, clustered, and 100% stacked. Okay. Next one is we have something else called combo chart. Combo chart. So as the name says, right, it's nothing but a combination chart. It will have a combination of line and, so look here, this is a line chart, this is the column chart. Column chart and a line chart. If you combine these two things, we call that as a combo charts. It can have one or two y-axis. In the case of combo charts, it can have one or two charts. It is also widely used across industries because of its power to represent multivariate insights. So what do you mean by multivariate? More than one variable, right? So you can you can show three variables. Okay. So when should I use this one? When you have a line chart and a column chart which share the same x-axis, in that kind of situation you can go for combo charts. To compare multiple ranges with different measures, also you can go for combo chart. So we will take a look at combo chart now. See, this is what called as combo chart. Line and clustered column chart. Here you have line and stacked column chart. Even in this also you have stacked and clustered column charts are there. I am going to click on the clustered column chart. Okay, here what I am going to do is I am going to select something like a quarter. So let's say each quarter, what is the sales value, how much sales we made, and how much profit we made. Look here, in quarter 1, this is what the sales we made, and quarter 2. So in this case, the y-axis we have sales and the x-axis we have quarter. For each quarter, what is the sales we can see. In addition to that, can I see for each quarter what is the profitability? And if I drag and drop it in the column series here, sorry, not here, and the line values, sorry, you need to drag and drop the profit under the line values. So here it shows the, look here, right? So count of profit, you just go and count distinct something. By default it is count, let it be there. And this is my combination chart. In the combination chart, I have the combination of column chart as well as the line chart. And as usual, we go here and we can go and enable the data label so that you can see the data labels displayed alongside of each bar. So in this column chart, with this you can understand in quarter 1 we made 1.8 million sales and the profitability was 3.8k. Okay, this is the profitability. What is the sales in each quarter and what is the corresponding profit in each quarter? We can see it here. And also, as usual, you can do all the things, right? So you can do shade area, you can create something like shade area. Shade area, it causes something kind of cluttered thing, and join type around line style, bevel, something like that. Okay, and you can enable stepped on. Instead of using the line, you can use stepped also. Okay, and if you don't want the stepped, but stepped will give you quick idea whether it is going up or not. Yes, it is going up, and even this one also gives, but stepped gives you much better idea. And the next one is yeah, so you can play around with all the border and shadow, all the things. You can try it out. Anyhow, we'll discuss about the design best practices, what color, what combination we are supposed to use it in real time. So that we will discuss it as part of dashboard design best practices. Okay, all right, the next one is so this is related to my charts, right? The stacked and clustered charts. We can give some meaningful name here so that later point in time we can. I'm going to click on the plus sign here to create another visual. Next, we will take a look at something else called scatter plots and bubble plot. So scatter plot, when can I use scatter plots? When can I use scatter plot? The scatter plot, you can plot it to find out the correlation between two numeric variable or the quantitative variable. If you want to find out the relation between two quantitative variables, then you can go for scatter plots. How many of you have done machine learning training? How many of you have attended already? So machine learning or data scientists, they know, they use it more frequently, the scatter plots. Bubble chart is right, you can plot each values in bubbles. That is what your bubble chart. Using bubble chart and scatter plot, you can find out the correlation between or the relation between two numeric variables. Please remember this. The interview, they will ask you what is the difference between all these charts, when you are supposed to use what charts, what are the charts that you used it as part of your projects. You should be able to tell everything. Okay, and what is the advantage of using scatter plots and bubble chart, using which you can find out the relation between these two ways, and other advantage, you can find out the outliers. What do you mean by outliers? The exceptionally very high value or low value you can find out with the help of scatter plots, using which you can find out the correlation, and you can find out the category in two sets of data. So what I am going to do is I'm going to click on the, this is what your scatter chart. We are talking about scatter chart, using which we can find out the relationship between two variables. And here what I am going to do is the same thing. I am going to use this one for the sake of simplicity. I just simply drag and drop sales, and I just say, instead of this one, okay, let it be there, category, and I'm going to say here we don't have the okay, profit. Yes, we have profit here. Okay, here I just do one thing here. Still look here in this visual, something is rotating here, which means it is populating the values from the column profit to here. It is trying to populate it. It will take some time. You need to wait, but it's hanging. Okay, so now let me just go here and select it and go back here. Here I put the profit in legend. We are not supposed to put it in legend. In the y-axis I'll put the profit here. In the x-axis you can simply drag and drop it here. Okay, if you think that's the reason it was taking it was taking longer time, because mistakenly I put the profit in the legend, because profit is a quantitative variable, it is not a categorical variable. add data fields here. Okay, why it is not coming here? And here okay, 1 second. Let me just check. Okay, look here, just before the profit we don't see the sigma sign. That means something wrong with the data type. The profit, it shows as a text data type, hence I will go and do some data transformation. Whatever the data transformation I did it in the last session was not sufficient, because in the profit column we could see the data type was wrongly assigned as text data type. I just scroll across the profit column here, and yeah, this is the problem here, right? So here I can see, just click on it, and then we will convert this as decimal number. Okay, profit, and we don't see any error. Very good. So no error, nothing, no empty, nothing. Very good. So I just click on close and apply. Sometimes when you drag and drop the variables in the visual, and if you don't see any difference, then you need to check the data type. And in the place of y-axis, you need to use the quantitative variable. Profit is a numeric variable, right? But we don't see any sigma sign. With the help of the sigma sign, we can understand whether a column is a numeric variable or quantitative variable or text data type. So here we don't see anything. So now we did some kind of transformation. That after we did the transformation, now the sigma should get placed before the profit. So what is this sigma? We already discussed, right? In Power BI, for any quantitative variable, by default it does the aggregation also. Okay, and now I just drag and drop this one here. Profit, look here, sales is on x-axis and profit is on. Okay, now what I do is, so x-axis, y-axis, and the sales, I just drag and drop it in the size. So this is called your scatter plot. The moment when I dragged and dropped the sales into the size of this each data point becomes bigger. Okay, this size is proportional to this size value, the size of your data, okay, or value in your data set. And look here, I am going to specify different color. Default color is this one, and show all technology. For each thing I am going to use different colors, and office supplies I am going to use some other color. Look here, these are different colors, and here in the legend I am going to use some column which has bigger thing here. And what is this here? I'm going to say region. So different region, right? So each region is colored with different color. Okay, and you have the scroll bar. Okay, and you can scroll it also to see the legend here. This is my scatter plot. Okay, and what I am going to do is, this region is also a bit bigger thing. I just go ahead and drag and drop the year field in the legend, so that I can see the year 2011 and 2012 and 13 and 14, what is the sales. Okay, and x-axis, y-axis profit, and sales, all the things are there. I just go to the format tab, and here data colors I can change it, 2011, 12, 13, 14. Okay, let it be there. And shapes also you can change it. If you drag this one, it will become bigger, the size of this thing, in the size, right? You can make it little bit like this. And okay, and if I marker shape is something like this. You can change whether the circle or something like that, right? You can change it. This is circle. And you can also customize the series. Categories on, you can specify the category on, so that when you select category on, you can see the categories along with each thing. So in 2014, office supplies, and 2012 office supplies. What is the sales in 2012 and 14? We can see it here. Okay, and you can see it here. For the time being, let it be there. Next, what I am going to do is, and we have other option here called one second, play axis. In the play axis, I just go and drag and drop the year here. Okay, here I already used it, right? Okay, and so the legend field, I use something like let's say I am going to use simple one, the segment. So in consumer and corporate and home office, this one is blank. Okay, some blank record is there. Ideally we should have done that. Somewhere something is happening, forget about this one, consumer office. So now in the play axis, I just dragged and dropped the year. When I click on this one, now after I dragged and dropped the year in this play axis field, I can see this video button got enabled here, right? So when I click on this one, in 2011, what is the sales? If I pass it here, 2014, this is the sales. And if you pass it here, 2011, and if you play it 2012 and 13, right? You can pass it and play it. So we are able to animate the scatter plot. We can create the animation in the scatter plot. Apart from this axis, fields, and the format, we have something else called analysis icon is available. And here if I go and select the median line, the average line, I'm going to click on the average line. I'm going to click on add average line 1. So here measure is sales, and I'm going to click on one more add here. So for this average line 1, sales have used, average line 2 I have used, profit. Look here, this is what your analytics icon here. In this, I just expanded this one, the average line. The average line, when you click on it, plus sign, average line 1 got created. When you click on this one, you can see that for average line 1, average line 2, I have used sales, average line 1, I selected profit here. Okay, and you can see that here in the sales, the average falls here, the profit, it falls here, right? It cuts here. So both the values intersect somewhere here. With this, we are able to gain some insight. What insight we are able to gain it? So in the home office segment, under furniture and office supplies category, and the sale is this much, and you can keep the cursor here, over the cursor. You can see that in furniture category, under segment home office, this is what the sales we made, and this is what the profit we made. And in year 2014, because I passed it in 14, right, that is what we can see it here. And here the profit is this one. So it shows the profit and sales here, but what we can understand is this is the average profit, this is the average sales. So the average, the office furniture and office supplies under home office segment, we made less than, the sale is less than the average, and profit will also less than the average in these two categories. So office supplies and furniture, okay, and these two categories. And technology, it is really good, right? So technologies, we are doing, not this one, this is the technologies we are doing good. Of these three category, office supplies and furniture, under home office we are not doing good job. And the technology, this is a corporate segment, and this is my, where is technology here, technology, right? So this is my technology, office supplies and technology, home office. Look here, in the home office segment, of the three category, we did a good job in technology category. See, there are three types of segment. One is customer, you and me, customers, okay, and corporate is, let's some company, okay, let's say Cognizant, they buy products directly from this company. And as a customer, we are directly buying from the company. Let's say you have Amazon, we are directly ordering the products. Sometimes the Wipro or Cognizant, they order the products in Amazon to give a gift to their New Year gift to their employees, okay, corporate orders. And home office Home office also they are ordering it. Let's say you are running a home office, right? You are making an order in Amazon website. There are three types of customers segment. Okay, three types. You just think customer types, and each customer's type we sell products under three categories. And home office segment customer type, we could see the technology sales is more than the average. Since the sales is more than average, the profitability is also more than average. Sometimes what will happen is the sales is more, but the profitability is not much. It is not quite promising, right? So that means you are selling at a wafer thin margin. Your margin is very less, but sale is more, but margin is not much. Let's say if you say your sale is 10 million, but your margin is just 100,000. 1 lakh, then what is the use, right? Your operating margin, many things are there, right? You have to give salaries to employees, all the things. So with this we are able to gain a quick insight in 2014, and each segment under three different categories, what is the sales we made it, and what is the profitability that we made it. And corporate segment, if you see, obviously the technology is really doing good, and whereas in the office supplies under consumer segment, in 2014, that is what they made. Profit 65,954 with 70,000. Office supplies category. Okay, the office supplies is outnumbering the technology sales here, and here the furniture corporate segment. This is the one. So in the home office, these two categories we are doing it below average in both in terms of sales and profitability. Here in this case, but general trend what we are seeing is as the sale increases. Look here in 2014, as the sale value is more, the profitability is also more, right? So 3,84,000, 16,000, and here the sale is 4,68,000, 64,000. Here 70,000 profit, 511, 468, 511, and here the sale is profit is more. So we could find a correlation between these two numeric variable to conclude this, right? So as the sales increase, the profitability also goes high. That is a common phenomenon, right? So that is what. So there are cases, though the sales is more, the profitability is going down. We don't see any downward pattern. We could see an upward trend here. So using the scatter plot, we are able to find out the correlation between three numeric variables or quantitative variables. In this case, profit and sales, these two are numeric or quantitative variable. There is a correlation exists between these two variables, because as the sales increases, the profitability also goes high. Look here, if you keep the cursor here, the sales is 736K, obviously profit is also going up. And if you keep the cursor here, the sales is 468, 64 and 70, and here if you see, the sales is 337, 53, profitability 52, right? As the sales is down, the profitability is also down, right? So here the sales is 248, profitability is 17. Here the sales is just 195, but profitability is 128. So it's a quite interesting one, right? In the office supplies, we are getting more profitability, though the sales is not on par with the home furniture category, right? This is really good. It is something like borderline, right? Profitability is on the borderline, but sale is not up to the mark. It is not touching the average, but profitability is good. We are able to gain more insights with this one, with scatter plot. But the idea of the scatter plot is, when you are supposed you want to find out the correlation or the relationship between the two numeric variables, then you are supposed to use scatter plot. So far we discussed about what is a line chart and what is the area chart, what is the difference between those two, and also we discussed about the three different types of chart here. One is this stacked chart, clustered chart, and other categories 100% stacked chart. So in each type pair of chart, we have bar and column chart, and we understood the distinction between each of them. And also we discussed about what is the difference between column chart, the stacked chart and clustered chart. In the case of stacked chart, we are comparing the part to whole, whereas in the case of clustered chart, we are comparing the categories side by side. So what is the difference between stacked bar chart, 100% stacked chart, In the case of stacked bar chart, 100% stacked bar chart also, we are comparing the part to whole, but here the values, the aggregated values are used to compare the part to whole. So it is considering each and every rectangle in the equal size. It considers everything as a percentage. Okay, instead of displaying the values as it is, it displaying the each bar in equal size, and it considers the aggregated values as under the percentage values. Next one is, we discussed about the, what else we discussed about, yes, we discussed, what else we discussed, the line chart, column chart. Yeah, so the next one we discussed about the combination chart. Using combination chart, you can showcase both the line as well as the column chart. So even in the case of combination chart, we have stacked combination chart and clustered combination chart. And you know what is stacked and what is the clustered chart, the difference. The same thing you can use it in the combination chart. In the case of combination chart, the two axes, like in the case of profit, two dimensions, the profit and sales shares the same x-axis. What are the x-axis? Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. We plotted in x-axis, right? This x-axis was shared by both profit and sales. We could see in one shot each quarter what is the sales and the corresponding profitability. With that example, we are able to understand how to use the combination chart. Next, we have seen the scatter plot. With scatter plot, we could see that right. So we with this simple example, we are able to gain more insights in this one, and it's mainly used to compare or find out the relationship between two numeric variables. That's it. So I'm going to wrap up this with this one. You guys have any questions so far? Is it easy to understand? I just rename it each pages with a meaningful name, and this is very much important. They'll ask you, what type of chart you've used it in your project, and why you need to use this chart. So why did you use line chart? Instead, you could have used bar chart or column chart. They'll ask you all the questions. Okay, you should be able to understand and just revisit my today's session video. You will be able to recollect everything. And the next session, we will take a look at the table visual, matrix visual, and then what is the difference between those two. And matrix is very robust one, and we can do a lot of things with matrix. Multi-dimensional, it is very much helpful. You can plot multi-dimensionals using matrix, and we can see a lot of features that are available as part of matrix. Okay, and next we will take a look at pie chart, donut chart, so on and so forth. Any questions so far? So okay, all of you, I guess you have access to my new website, the training in Chennai info. You just go here, take all the quizzes for the topics whatever I covered so far. Quizzes and assignments are also there. Even in the data modeling, I have some assignments. You just take a look at all the data sets, everything is available. One more time, I will tell you where you need to download all the things. So once you log in with your credentials, okay, here for example, full stack Power BI self-paced course, click on the view more. Not this one, both of them are same only. Once again, there are some difference here. And look here, so click on view more, log in with your credentials. I guess all of you have credentials. Okay, store it somewhere, and look here, you can find the quizzes here. Okay, 4 questions, and you can see 4 questions, 2 questions, all the things are there, and some assignment is there, Power Query assignment is there. You click on it, okay, and you can see that. But when you click the second one, download resources, when you click on it, you will be able to download all the files. When you click on it, whatever the GitHub thing, right, I included it here. You can download it, everything in this single place, and then you can start work on the assignment. For assignment, you need a data set. For quizzes, you don't need a data set. Okay, simply go and take all the, so till data modeling I have completed. Data modeling assignment is there, you just work on this one, and 11 questions are there, you take up these quizzes. But behind the scene, this website, right, it captures each person's score, okay, but still it shows you the answer, everything, don't worry, you somehow you complete this one. And even data visualization also, you give it a try, okay. And all the videos pre-batch, these are the pre-batch previous batch related videos, everything is available here. You can start, if you want to do fast tracking, you can go and read it, you can watch it, okay. Okay guys, if you, since you don't have any questions, I'm going to wrap up the session. We'll upload the video shortly, okay. And next session is see, tomorrow is a bit challenging for me, so next weekend I will compensate all these sessions whatever I cancelled it, okay. And we most likely we will have 4 sessions, 3 to 4 sessions next weekend, okay. So that we'll try to do fast tracking. So I hope next one session will complete all the visualization part, and two sessions are there because it is a vast topic, okay. And we'll cover, I need 2 sessions, and then next week ideally we'll have 4 sessions, okay. 2 sessions I will complete this one, and then we will jump into DAX part, right. So next week most likely we'll start with the DAX part, and followed by the next week we'll try to complete all the DAX parts, okay. And most likely we'll be up and running in, I'll just give you a rough idea. So one next week, and yeah, and by 23rd or 24th we'll wrap up everything, okay. All the topics will complete it, okay. And 25 interview preparation session, and also we'll share a link to our Q and interview question and answers thing. And then 26, 27 will help prepare your profile, and then we will start floating your profile with our prospective employees. And see, I have some tie-up with some people, and here, look here, you know, she is arranged some interview, and TCS also we have some tie-up. And look here, so I have asked Monica, and she says any opening, yes, some openings are there. She's the one set up an interview with this guy Abhijit. Is also my student, the current batch student, okay. And for them I have already completed it, only one topic is pending for them, and before that itself he is able to, so these are the questions they asked him in the interview, so whatever he could remember it. So that's why in my status I put the difference between all and all select, though I repeated many times, people are forgetting it, but all the topics please remember it, go through on it, and keep it everything fingertip, okay, in fingertip. And role playing dimension, active inactive relationship, all these things they will be, you can expect this. And many to many relationship, and almost all the interviews they ask this question, okay. And please make sure that you are understanding many to many. I covered 3 scenarios, okay, in the last session, except that small mistake, okay. Order data I should have taken from sales W04. Anyhow, I put it in the comment, okay. So this is a mistake I made, and this is the correct thing, okay. Fine guys, please go through on the videos and keep revise it, and we will circle back next Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. We'll try to cover 3. Most likely next weekend we'll cover all the visualization part, and followed with the next weekend, right. Next week we'll start the Power BI cloud services, and side by side we'll start the DAX. 2 more weeks, 1 to 3 weeks are enough for me to wrap up the session, okay. Fine. So okay guys, hope you are fine with this plan, right. So we will in the meanwhile start practice everything. We'll circle back next week Tuesday. Fine, I'm going to wrap up the session now. See you next Tuesday.